Okay, so a Quizmaster, Discharge, Chemo Snare, and Steel Claw. A man calling himself Progenitor, or the Progenitor if you want to get serious about this, contacted all of you and flashed some big money to get your attention. He has...
How big are we talking?
Like big money.
Like stacks on stacks?
Like stacks on stacks.
Backs on backs on backs?
Yeah. Yeah, he flashes real big money to get y'all attention.
Damn, no whammies. Stop.
That's my line.
Then basically gives you a kind of an undisclosed location to all meet up. As he proposes a job for you. I assume y'all go there. It's undisclosed location somewhere in the Midwest in Midwest America, when you arrive, it is a empty warehouse. It is an empty warehouse. The only thing to meet you being a black unmarked SUV, and what ensues is perhaps an unpleasant experience, but not like terrible. So that's sort of like bags on head, multiple exchanges, no electronics, stuff like that.
My arms are electronics.
I need my phone. It's how I read the cue cards. I need my
bring cue cards to something like this.
I have a script and I stick to it. Discharge.
All my equipment is hydraulic. I don't need any electricity for it.
I think that's somehow worse.
The individual that is ferrying you guys is fairly unamused. It's just like, doesn't matter.
Damn right, my man. Nothing matters. This guy gets
Outgoing communications are going to be jammed anyways.
That's fine. I just need my script, is all. And he puts his phone back in his pocket.
All right. So, you guys wind up after several different handoffs and whatnot. You arrive. You are each sat in chairs, with the burlap sacks on your heads, and eventually burlap sacks are removed, and you find yourselves in a very dark room, with the only thing illuminating it being a hanging bulb above you. There are no windows and seemingly no doors either. Sitting across from you at a very wide metal desk is a man in his late 50s with short hair and a salt and pepper beard, all meticulously cared for. He wears a suit with no tie and sits behind a simple desk.
He's wearing the Sentai mask and the Domino mask, so you can only really tell by the muscles in his forehead, but Quizmaster is rolling his eyes so hard. Is this central casting? I mean, really? Really? The light bulb? Really?
Yes, you're one to talk about stereotypes.
Good evening, gentlemen. I do apologize for the precautions of our meeting, but I must be ever vigilant to our enemies. Furthermore, I do apologize for the decor. I understand that it offends your sensibilities, but this is what we came up with on the fly. You're wondering why I've brought you here in such a convoluted means. I wish to hire you for a job. I wish for you to steal a capsule unlawfully taken from one of my many laboratories. I have already included in your pay an incentive to ask no further about the capsule. Mind, I simply request that you do not drop it.
Do we actually have a contract?
He nods, holds up a hand, reaches by his chair, pulls out a manila folder, and hands each of you contracts with a pen.
Okay.
Is the capsule fragile then?
Very.
Can I roll will and tag classic concentration? Is this a sound contract in spite of the fact that we're all supervillains?
Sure, go ahead and roll it.
Okay. Classic concentration gives me a +2 to will.
I don't think that's what Will does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what Will does.
Like,
You would want to use
Switch that to notice, maybe?
or a lore, or
Lore, since lore academics is all that.
yeah,
is
lore
another thing.
academics.
Like lore is also known as academics. It's just all that like book learning
Yeah.
stuff.
Lore would make sense then.
Yeah, go ahead and roll lore.
Okay, that gives me a +3.
Okay. All right. I don't need it for this, but I probably should have a dice generator for fudge dice here. So, +3, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, seems on the level. He is going to be paying you quite a bit of money, not only to retrieve his property, but to not ask any questions about his property, specifically this property alone. You're not barred from asking questions about other things, just not the Progenitor Cascade or whatever the fuck that is. You are given a pretty hefty incentive, financial incentive to not do that, as well as the promise of, pain of death and all that jazz. Huge.
So
I mean, this is probably not a contract we can hold up in a court of law.
Yeah. This is more of a this is what you're getting into kind of contract.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we all are supervillains. We have a code of honor. It's not great, but it's a code of honor.
Do we?
holding down like the piece of paper after like kind of looking through them. So who exactly is it that took lifts it back up and squint? Progenitor Cascade. Who exactly is it that took this from you?
The Thane of Sydney.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Indeed. The Progenitor Cascade was being developed in one of my facilities in Sydney, Australia. The Thane happened upon it as it was being transported. And now it is in his hands. Or his dummy corporation's hands, anyhow. And he pulls out another few papers of photographs of a fenced off 7-story, what appears to be very highly secure facility. The laboratory it has been moved to is in Orange City, South Carolina. An affiliated city with prominence. I'm sure you are familiar. This lab formerly belonged to Revite. Following the Reaper War, the Coalition of Heroes purchased the facility and numerous other Revite holdings under the guise of Danuke Glaf Pharmaceuticals. Here, the last known location of the Progenitor Cascade.
Let's see.
Your job will be to travel to Orange City, infiltrate the Nuke Glaf's research facility, and reacquire my property. Once it is done, you are to give me you are to basically he hands you he hands you all burner phones. There is one contact in all of these phones. It does not matter which of you calls it. All you must do is call the number. I will then arrange for a pickup.
Sounds good.
And he leans back. I'm sure you have questions. I can provide answers.
What can we be expecting at this site?
One city is under the protectorates of the coalition of the Spirit of Prominence. However, many of them are currently indisposed. Furthermore, Spirits of Prominence have very little presence in Orange City. The administration of the city is very counter to their interests. Keeps them out whenever possible. You should expect no coalition presence as well. Hurricane Cassandra in the South Pacific has been causing a bit of problems for Indonesian and Polynesian islands. Coalition of Heroes and many of the Spirits of Prominence have devoted the majority of their resources to humanitarian aid. That is why this is the best time to retake my property.
So this is time sensitive.
Indeed.
That is why we're doing it now.
Indeed. Eventually, they will finish their humanitarian aid, rebuild homes, restructure whatever it is they're doing over there. When they're finished, they will come back home.
Push it down.
What did you say?
Oh, he just muttered under his breath, continue to push their paradigm.
Aha.
Security forces employed by the labs.
Yes. The laboratory will be absolutely secure. You should expect minimal presence from the Spirits of Prominence or the Coalition of Heroes, but you should expect a well-trained security force.
Armed?
Yes. He sets a picture on the table that shows that shows armed, like PMC kind of equipped soldiers patrolling the grounds.
He kind of looks at the picture and looks back up. So you're in that type of science work, I see.
He smiles pleasantly.
Fair, it's fair, it's fair. We all have our needs, I suppose.
These forces will not be augmented by coalition or spirit presence unless you bring it to their attention. I'm sure if a big enough scene is made, spirits will arrive. Do you have any other questions?
Do we have any sort of operating budget for expenses?
That has been included with your payment.
The less you spend, the more you make, Chemo Snare.
It's a chemo snare. I don't cure cancer. I'm a chemist.
Chemo Snare. My apologies. I always try to do my best pronouncing the contestants' names. Sometimes slip-ups happen.
The progenitor awaits any further questions.
The container is the outside particularly reactive to anything, any way we shouldn't be handling it?
No, just do not drop it or apply any immediate pressure to it. Or shoot
So
it. Or break it in any way.
So it would be fine covered in, say, a rubberized foam to lessen the chance of it breaking, then, yes?
Yes, in fact, that would be ideal.
And it's not going to give me something exotic, is it?
It could. I wouldn't advise dropping it. Not only will I deduct payments, you will also not have a good time.
How will we know when we found it? What does it look like?
Unless our enemies are careless, it will be the most well-protected object in the entire facility. If our enemies are careless, you need to look for this. It hands you all a picture of what looks like a warhead, which is, a small sort of like a small conal,
Like a Davy Crockett.
Yeah, kind of like a. Well, no, like the tip of a warhead, like a small conal object that you could hold in the palm of your hand.
Anything
And it's kind of a sort of a hazy blue color.
Is there any way to tell if they've disarmed it or otherwise tampered with it in a way that would make it less stable to carry?
No. No, that is something that I would have to uncover as soon as I have it in my possession again.
If we were to find it in such a state, that wouldn't reduce our
Your payments?
retainer. No.
No. No, you'd have done your job.
So why Progenitor?
You tilts his head to the side. What do you mean?
It's an interesting choice for a name I haven't really heard around very much.
Ah, that. Retrieve for me the Progenitor Cascade and you may find out.
Suppose I will.
Out of character, so he's also calling himself Progenitor?
Yeah, he called himself the Progenitor.
I have no further questions. Anybody else? Steelclaw, you've been fairly quiet.
I only care about getting paid.
Well, you can't get paid if you don't know, my good friend.
Well, if there is nothing else, then
Back with the bags. Those.
you'll be on your way, and yes, that entails back with the bags. I hope to hear from you soon. Best of luck. And there are bags placed on your head again.
Henry stumbles a bit when his gets put on because he was leaning back in his chair.
Yeah,
He was trying to look very cool.
Bags are placed back on your respective heads. You are given multiple exchanges from car to car to car, and so on and so forth. And eventually, you are all dropped off at a you are all dropped off at a bar near an airport with tickets to Eminence County Airport, the Eminence County Airport, where you will find the county in which you will find Prominence and Orange City.
Okay. We never have done an introduction to our characters, so
Yes, please do. It's well lit now, so
Yeah. I'll start first. Steelclaw is a person with like
A steel claw.
iron hands.
2 steel claws.
Yeah, he's got a very weird metallic arms. Kind of think like Jax from Mortal Kombat, but they're like more ornate and spindly, and the fingers can extend out to claws, and they are seem to be of some Central Asian descent. Have a metallic shield thing covering their mouths and covering their mouth and nose. Short curly hair. And is wearing a black hooded trench coat over a army surplus bulletproof vest. And
Oh fuck yeah, we're both edgelords. We both got trench coats.
Bum-bum-bum.
and like some camo pants.
Okay. Next.
I'm playing Quizmaster. He is dressed in a pitch black suit, wears a white dress shirt with a red and black checkered tie. He wears a white Zentai mask / balaclava over his head. He's got a red and black checkered domino mask that goes over where his eyes are. And then his hair is cut out, so he has a perfectly coiffed wave of blonde coming off his head. It's probably kind of been mussed into kind of a faux hawk type thing with all the bag moving and removing and moving and removing.
Mm-hmm.
He's tall. He's kind of got a swimmer's build, so he's not super muscular until you start looking close. When he removes the masks eventually, he's got a very shiny hazel eyes.
Okay. Well, Chemo Snare.
Chemo Snare is wearing a blue button-down shirt, some nice dress pants, non-slip shoes, a lab coat, and a belt and backpack filled with numerous unknown liquids, as well as a domino mask.
Hell yes.
We've got 2 suited dapper people and 2 edgelords. Perfect.
We start with an edgelord. We're going to end with an edgelord. Well, discharge.
All right, so Discharged Look is pretty. You could mistake him for just kind of being a rioter, I guess, or a school shooter, I suppose. Like he's wearing, he wears a black long trench coat, fingerless gloves, has kind of wavy black hair that goes out a bit in front of his face. He doesn't wear a proper mask, but when on the job, so to speak, he has a checkered kind of red scarf that he pulls up to the nose area. He's not too worried about completely hiding his identity. He's gotten out of jail enough times at this point.
Of course.
He definitely keeps some level of bulletproof vest below his clothes, along with a mesh of various kind of odd cohesive black material that it's pretty commonly known he forms his hounds out of. Heavy, like, steel-toed boots, and has a series of piercings in his ears. Kind of tannish skin. A little short.
So yeah, dapper, dapper supervillains and a pair of edgelords. Hell yes.
We're
excited about this.
We got the silver.
Listen, right. Society just tells you that wearing a trench coat's a problem. You need to ignore society. They're going to tell you all the wrong things. They're going to try and keep you down just because you're trying to stand out and make a difference. Try and do something new. Try and bring about an actual new paradigm as opposed to this other one that they keep pushing.
I was just commenting on your coat. I wasn't mocking it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
That's what you say. I see as you wear the establishment's considered outfit.
I mostly wear this for tactical purposes.
You've heard of me, right? The whole I used to be on TV. It's kind of my shtick.
Yes, and you're still wearing your shackles. You might have to think about that.
No. It's a reminder. Shackles.
By the way, speaking of Quizmaster,
Yes.
would you like a fate point?
Oh, always.
Because I'm going to compel pressure luck.
Oh no. How so?
Why would you not involve the Spirit's Prominence?
Can make this elaborate, don't I? So what? Like maybe I see.
If you take the fate point, basically, your character is going to have your character plan on involving them somehow, some way.
Okay, yeah, I'll start.
And not
I'll start
accidentally of like messing it up, like messing something up.
No, I'll start thinking of things.
You can take that fate point.
Yeah, no, I'm taking it.
You don't have to tell anyone else about it. Not if you don't want to.
I'll DM you any ideas.
No, you don't have to. It's fine. You can set them up. It's all good. So anyway, yeah, you guys have tickets to Eminence County Airport. Y'all gonna take a trip?
I'm gonna take you for a ride.
On that good old gospel
ride. Yep. All right.
Is this like a private plane that we don't have to go through airport security for?
Yes.
Okay, because I was just wondering about like weapons and also all of Discharge and Steel Claw.
And also, Bob Berry is publicly known to be Quizmaster.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, but
I hide.
Like I figured you're like the least like put it like get a good enough disguise and a fake ID, and you're like
yeah
good comparative to like the tank full of like chemical goop and like all of Discharge and Steel Claw.
I'm not like that suspicious looking. I just look like I could commit a crime.
It is. Yeah, it is a private jet. You are to meet with the you have tickets essentially for this. You can essentially skip security, and you're to meet with a man calling himself Captain Cook.
Does he make meth? Does he make meth?
No.
Damn.
He is awaiting you guys in a small private jet. He is a older man, heavy set, but also in that muscly sort of way. Has an eye patch over one eye. A long, thick, and braided beard, and wearing a sea captain's vestments. Greetings.
Now, that is an aesthetic. I appreciate it.
I heard you needing transport. Your contacts paid well.
I'm Quizmaster, and you are?
Captain Cook.
How quaint.
You can roll academics if you want.
Academics.
Recognize them?
I think that'd be contacts, would it?
Yeah, contacts actually would be it. Sorry.
I don't have contacts. I feel like that'd be
have lore. Would that?
I still got a +2 on my 0 roll though.
I'll say academics. Isn't
lore is academics? Lore is just like learned knowledge rather than like colloquial knowledge. I guess is the idea of it.
I'll say yeah. You can use lore. The T will be a little higher, but yeah, contacts or lore.
+3.
Okay.
Plus.
I guess using
2
lore, I got +5 lore.
Okay.
+4 lore.
All right. What did you get there, Sharps?
+2
+2 contacts or lore?
lore.
Okay. Those of you who got a 4 or higher in lore, you haven't used his services specifically, or used anything affiliated with him. But you did recognize the name on the tickets, and also now that you're seeing him, you recognize his face. Captain Cook is a man out of prominence, who is renowned in the criminal underworld for being able to get anything to any place at any time, always.
That is 4 criminals into a heavily superpower protected region.
Yeah. He is considered the best smuggler in the world, essentially. And you also know that he more or less keeps his smuggling operations legal, in that he takes jobs without asking questions. Like you guys. He probably took this job without asking, why am I transporting a bunch of supervillains of prominence?
What are you talking about, supervillains? He's just transporting people.
Yeah, who am I transporting? No, I don't need to know who I'm transporting. If they just happen to be the bad guys, then whoops. I didn't ask.
Yes, we were just flying business class.
If I don't see it, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
It's not cheating if you're not caught.
And yeah, he's just like, it's gonna be a smooth flight. You can just sit back, have a nap if you wanna. There are drinks in the back otherwise.
Steelhands is just gonna stare pensively out a window.
And yeah, he takes off with that.
Quizmaster makes some perfect old fashions and offers it to the others.
Chemosnare will take one.
And dull my senses, I think not. The poison of the masses, please.
Oh, for the love of God. Steel Claw, would you like some?
No. You see the thing with Steel Claws, he won't give you a bunch of bullshit.
He's thinking it, but he won't give it to you.
At least there's that. Well, I suppose there's enough for each of us to have 2 Chemosnare. Chemosnare. He lifts up his mask long enough to take sips. Swirl it around.
I'd certainly accept something like that, except I'm flying.
I'll have one ready for you on the ground.
That's quite all right, Sonny. I'm off the stuff. My wife, the Duchess, she'd kill me. She'd throw me to the sea. Granted, I can think of a lot worse deaths for a man like me, but I'm not there yet.
All this talk causes Quizmaster to just start glaring out a window, and he immediately shuts up.
Assuming our pilot doesn't hear anything, gives a nod to Captain Hook. I will. I suppose we should start thinking about what our plans are going forward.
Ah, right. I think I might just listen to some music. You guys enjoy the flying. And he puts in some earbuds.
We sneak in, get the package, and sneak out.
Yes, that's the large plan. Now, now we need to break that into smaller steps.
I find myself, luckily, with an affinity for technology and understanding the methods that they attempt to protect their secrets with.
Technology, how bougie of you.
Please, if you hadn't used the same in your attempts to reach the masses. No, I understand what makes the world tick in these days and understand how to get to the lifeblood of everything, including organizations such as this. We live in a digital era. Unless you'd like to be the one to manually hack into any security systems.
I mean, I can, but I trust your abilities.
Oh, you can. How matching are you?
He just starts making a vigorous wanking motion.
Don't sling insults you don't want back.
I never said I couldn't take it now, could I, boy?
No, I'm certain you've taken many things over your day. Still, be able to get in and obtain whatever need be. I can fend for myself, though, of course, anyone coming in would be distracting in my work at a given point in time. It'd be nice if anyone could help deal with that.
Indeed. I would honestly say the 2 to 3 of us should probably be in the infiltration group, and then Steel Claw either acts as a diversion or acts as forceful backup in the event that we need such.
So, to get into the facility, do we want to simply evade the physical security of the place, or shall we attempt to infiltrate with costumes or the like?
I figure most anywhere as secure as this would probably know their staff, would know who would be entering in. And I don't find myself much one for pretending, so...
I could forge us some identities, and we could pretend to be members of another company interested in either a merger or in purchasing some products.
It seems unlikely for a shell company owned by the Coalition of Heroes.
Well, if it's a shell company, wouldn't they have other branches, perhaps? Someone from out of town making a surprise inspection, or...
Plus,
Yeah,
there's
there's
always...
use their own draconian organizations against them.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's bad, Nate. That's bad. The other issue is, do you want Steel Claw to be diversitory, or do we want him to be a wrecking ball? Because I imagine once we have the TPC, we will not have much time to evacuate the premises.
Generally, I've found that when breaking into a secure location such as this, it's good to have your escape plan, or escape route as it were, prepared ahead of time before the actual crime goes down.
Oh, of course. That's why we're talking about it now.
Either way, I think our
If
first
we're
order
simply
of
posed
business.
against guards, muscles should not be something we need in the room.
Despite assurances, heroes have a habit of popping up when you least expect them to. I believe that's what we would need muscle for more than anything.
Certainly. However, the method of a wrecking ball seems a bit excessive. Lacks elegance.
Well, I believe
Let's
our
keep them
first...
distracted.
Yes. A distraction would probably be the easier way, divert security to where we don't want it to be. Or away from where we don't want it to be, I mean. And but as for the security itself, we'll probably have to make some inquiries once we are on the ground so that we can identify our best routes in and out.
Indeed, indeed. Let's see. What else?
All I need is access to a computer, to be honest, and I should have plenty of information about the facility.
Okay, that is good. Again, we need to do research to make some rock solid aliases. We also need exfiltration. How do we leave once we have everything?
It shouldn't necessarily be a complicated measure. We leave simply the same way we came in. If we manage to get in, there shouldn't inherently be an alarm going off. We're not planning to smash our way through.
Right, but again, we are in a region protected by the spirits. You want to make I think we need both a plan A and a plan B. A loud and a quiet.
Additionally, there is, since we know very little about the package we are obtaining, it's quite unlikely we will be able to liberate it and without someone noticing.
That's one of the other things I want to do, is I want to see what this company has in stock, and if we have to exfiltrate loud, we might as well take some other prizes now, shouldn't we?
By all means. If that is the case, I am more than happy and should be easily able to find a way out. Security shouldn't pose too much of a trouble in the long term. As well as if muscle need be situation, then that also would not be difficult for me. That said, I don't know the plans for the building structure yet. That's partly why we need to be inside, so an exit strategy, our method of egress, is not really something we can nail down beyond that at this point in time.
Right. Well, there's also the not as obvious things. We might be able to go to the county commissioners and see if we can get blueprints, or at least plat maps for the area. Give us an idea of how the ground is, and if there's any sewer tunnels or anything we can use.
With a little bit of prep work and getting the necessary ingredients, I could create some thermite or other corrosive or explosive compounds to get us through most barriers, should that be our choice of egress. But I don't carry those materials on me usually.
Wow, you do not want to carry thermite on you. I'm so surprised.
I would make one suggestion before we go much further. And I think it is the rather excessive amount of antagonism you seem to have towards the rest of us at the moment, Quizmaster.
I make jokes. I'm sorry if you find them antagonistic.
In that tone.
My apologies. I'm trying
It's
to
exactly
run
that same tone that we're talking.
You're not letting me finish. I'm trying to plan as we talk. Maybe if I down another old-fashioned, that'll calm me down a little bit. I will promise myself that I will give less snark. My apologies, Discharge.
He'll kind of nod and make like just a flicking motion, like water off the back. It's fine. So, I do have one suggestion. After we obtain the cascade, whatever sort of name that is, and you cushion it in whatever method you deem appropriate, nods to Chemosnare. As long as there is something approximately the size of it, any sort of vent or anything able to leave the building, I can get it out, even if we're not with it at the time, which may actually make it safer, to be honest, as they'll almost certainly check on us.
It's a very good idea. Perhaps even have somebody on the outside to obtain it, or at least have it in another spot where they will not be searching for it. That is good planning.
We'll look for any large pieces of foliage or other location that shouldn't be immediately disturbed. Find a drop point there.
Absolutely. Then, after we have obtained the TPC and evacuated the building, whether quietly or loudly, we need to probably just be on the move as soon as possible. Have some sort of unmarked van or non-flashy car or something so we can be moving as quickly as possible. The less we get the spirit's attention, the better. And then we can make the phone call while we are en route, which should hopefully get us to our exfiltration.
We'll look into, with the funds we have available and some of the ones with me, I suppose, a total of 5 cars would be good. One for each of us and an additional one. We might not use them all, but with the money we're bringing in, it should be fine if we're not getting anything particularly expensive. I don't need to buy into the symbols of status.
Symbols of status tend to have better engines, though.
This is true. However, they also tend to bring more attention. Once we get out of the immediate area, though, then we can easily call via the burner phones, have them show up to pick us up wherever we decide to meet up beforehand. Again, we'll have to see the exact location.
Okay. So the ride is fairly uneventful. Captain Cook ends up landing in a private lane at the Inverness County Airport, and just says, "Well, I don't know why you're all here, but if you ever need my services again," and he hands a bunch of business cards.
Wonderful. I would give you mine, but that might not be wise for your line of work. So, if I need you, I will call you.
Henry takes it and pulls his wallet out of his pocket attached to the chain.
Nice.
Places it.
Aye. Best of luck to you.
Take care, Captain Cook.
If you don't mind me asking before you go, you wouldn't happen to know anyone around here who deals in vehicles on the cheap, would you?
That I do. He fishes through his wallet and pulls out an old business card for Oscar De La Hoya's used autos. It is a he hands you a business card for Oscar De La Hoya's used autos, and just says, "He's a frequent customer of mine."
Okay. I didn't realize the champ dealt in used cars, but I guess diversification of portfolios is good, I suppose.
Oftentimes, that's where the money is. You follow the money.
Oh, no, I know. How many athletes deal in real estate?
Indeed. De La Hoya's autos are also least likely to be bugged or tracked back to you. He deals in cash only.
Perfect.
Good. I happen to have a surplus of that.
Just don't expect any warranties.
Oh, where we're going, we're not going to need warranties, dear Captain.
Well, that's your business.
Absolutely. Safe travels.
You as well. He tips his captain's hat. And he tips his captain's hat. He steps out to meet and welcome coming from the other side of the lane with several crates worth of stuff. Sealed crates with just sealed crates with just documentation that they are crates attached to them, and the cadre bringing this is what appears to be very buff, kind of stereotypically dressed seamen. So like striped, form-fitting t-shirts, things along those lines.
White, large head, long tail. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh god damn it, hate you. skipper's caps, things along those lines. And they are also alongside them is a rather finely dressed woman in her mid-50s, who also wears an eye patch, and is barking orders, much to everyone's, or is barking orders that's the young the young seamen are just following readily. And Captain Cook goes and meets them as you guys leave.
Wonderful. We do need a place to convene. Should we rent? You want me to go and rent a warehouse, or rent some no-tell motels, or?
The warehouse seems large enough for all the things we're going to be gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Why don't I go rent that in one of my burner IDs, and I'll give you a call when I have it on hand.
All right, you guys have plenty of an opportunity to dress down, so that you won't be recognized walking the streets. And yeah, do y'all just like take taxis into Orange City?
Yeah, I get an Uber.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of yous?
Yeah, probably just take a taxi. All of Chemo Snare's gear fits handily into a roller suitcase.
Yeah, totes.
How far away from the city are we?
You are a decent ways away, honestly. A few. You are I'd say about 15 to 20 miles north of Prominence, specifically. You're north of what's called Colonial Prominence, which is a series of Victorian homes and wide swaths of land ownership and the like.
Rich people town.
Like crazy rich people town. An exurb actually is what it's called. I remember.
Well, exurb is when you buy a farmland to make for cheaper housing. This might be a little bit beyond exurb because it's so old.
Right.
Maybe they were managed to grab some plantation land.
Nevertheless, I mean, you are in South Carolina. There is plantation land here, but nevertheless,
Probably just hotwire a car.
Just gonna hotwire a car.
Yeah.
Sure.
Of course.
Go ahead and roll me something to
Plus
hotwire a.
+6 crafts.
All right, sure. Let's see. You hotwire. +6 crafts. Yeah, what do you hotwire? Well, you go to the overnight lot out of Eminence County Airport. What do you grab?
I'm looking for something kind of excessively practical.
So like,
Thinking like some sort of compact car sort of thing.
Okay, a compact car. All right.
Yeah, decent miles to the gallon sort of thing we're looking at. Instead of like jimming it open with a Slim Jim or anything like that, he just presses his hands to it and some of the goo flows underneath the window.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice Toyota as parked in the overnight. One of the compact Toyotas. You use your nano goop to unlock the doors, slide in, and how do you use the nano goop to hotwire it too?
Yeah, it's closely enough tied to his own brain activity that he can basically just command it to do things, and he is a technical genius, so getting it to work for that is not that difficult.
Oh yeah, yeah. Car starts up like a dream. No alarms.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
he'll pull up alongside Steel Claw and offer him a ride.
Steel Claw. Sharps.
Early.
Oh yeah. What? We are all getting in the car.
Discharge. Just stole a car.
Mhm.
And pulled up next to you, wherever you were walking, and offered you a ride.
Sure. He'll get in the trunk.
Wait,
The passenger seat's open.
Listen. You can never be too sure.
This Michael is made for me.
there it is.
Listen, if you just... The trunk is the safest place of the car.
Is it? Is it really? I haven't heard that.
It is until we're rear-ended.
Oh no, you're rear-ended. Oh
There it
no.
is.
Down one character. No.
Listen, he can if it gets worse, he can cut his way out.
You are your own jaws of life.
Well, if he's not wrong.
Okay. So, each
Anyway,
of
we're
you...
gonna hotbox on the way to Orange City.
Oh yeah. That sounds just fine. Let's see. You're hotboxing?
Yeah. Listen, alcohol is the poison of the
Would be another
masses.
reason to take the trunk, but due to being from Nietzsche, my lungs naturally.
Naturally accept marijuana as air.
You naturally accept most poisons as air.
I had to get special lungs to come here, so.
Look, all right, Nietzsche, like the people in Nietzsche understand. Yo, drugs are often used by creatives. Maybe we should be immune to dying from that in bad situations.
Yes, from all those people who died of ODing on marijuana.
I mean, marijuana is an exaggeration, but meaning that you probably are able to adapt to most drugs by this point.
Let's see. What would be? Is there a driving skill in Fate Core?
Yes.
There is.
Oh,
Okay.
And this is another reason to take the trunk, because we're probably not going to get rear-ended, but the chances of us plowing into something are steadily rising.
All right. Normally, I wouldn't call for a roll to go from point A to point B, but if you're token,
Oh boy.
The danger increases a lot.
If you insist.
it is not. It is not to. It is not to determine if you crash into anything,
Pulled over.
but if you swerve too much to attract police attention.
Fair enough. I'm gonna spend a fate point, and tag being in over your head means you're getting somewhere.
There it is.
+4.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, you're good. So you use like your phone or something to give yourself directions to Orange City.
Oh yeah, I just like Google search.
Yeah. You have to go through Prominence on the way. But you can use a route to just kind of go around. Take a kind of roundabout route to avoid going through the main metropolis itself. So Quizmaster, you are going to get a what were we gonna try and get?
I just wanted to try to obtain rent out a warehouse under an assumed name. So on the outskirts of the city, just so that
Sure.
way we have a base of operations and like we don't have to worry about traipsing around.
Do you just like ask your driver or something?
I probably just Google it myself.
Okay. Yeah, there are honestly in Orange City on the north end of Orange City is kind of a piddling manufacturing zone with many abandoned warehouses, as well as some for rent.
I pick one of the ones that is like, of the selections, that's the middle distance to the labs.
Well, the labs are on the south side.
Okay. So maybe then the one that's closest, the one that is closest to downtown.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. The southernmost the southernmost warehouse for rent. Yeah, you can go ahead and take care of that. You make the phone call. Talk with him.
Hi, my name is Dick Woolery, and I'm interested in renting a warehouse.
You find yourself on the phone with a a man who can hardly give even half a fuck.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad I'll be able to rent this. Thank you very much.
Well, you just want to meet me there?
Yes, please.
Oh, of course. And yeah, you have your driver take you to this warehouse, and there's a man in his like late 50s, haggard looking. Looks like he really wants to be somewhere else. You can meet him, exchange that cash money, and he gives you a set of keys.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back in a few days to take them off you. Just don't make any copies of them keys. You got it?
Oh, of course not. I just need it for the purposes of the next couple days, and then I'll hand you back this set of keys.
He spits out whatever tobacco he's chewing.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he gets in his car and leaves.
I promptly go to Walmart and make 4 sets of keys.
Of course.
No, 5 sets of keys. Because I need to give him back his original set. But each of us needs a set. So.
And then 1 extra.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Completely doable. Do you give everyone a call? Give it a place to meet?
Oh, yes. I give them the address, tell them I have keys waiting for them.
Okay. Well, as you guys have each either gone through Orange City, and there is a Walmart in Orange City. It's kind of on the main drag. In Orange City, sort of down the center of the center of the city.
I probably also pick up some basics, some food and toiletries, and probably pick up a couple of inflatable air mattresses or something. Oh, but steel claw and discharge. Some cheapo mattresses, yeah, that'll do.
You want a truck to carry them?
Sure, why not?
You're gonna have Walmart deliver. I want you to just deliver. I want you to just deliver these mattresses to this warehouse I'm renting.
Yeah, why not?
Some teenager who's probably who could give even less of a fuck than the man you rented the warehouse from will with an upcharge deliver mattresses for you.
They look suspiciously like this, Chuck.
Have some mattresses and some bed frames, since we have the money anyway. Why not? Let's buy some cheap $50 bed frames. That way we're not sleeping on the floor.
Quizmaster making it rain at Walmart.
I've been promptly
Walmart,
set
all the
myself to
supervillains
work,
everywhere.
and in an absurdly short amount of time, all 4 beds have been built, made, and dressed. And I've made out some tables with all the food and toiletries, and everything is perfectly arranged.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Do you give everyone the cue to show up then?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, before we all do, I'll just say right now, as you've either taken taxis through Orange City or driven a stolen car through Orange City, you're able to get this much here. It is a small city that appears to be on the edge of a resurgence. It's got its fair share of dilapidated structures, but it looks like new businesses are starting to take root in the city's center, despite competition from supermarkets like Walmart and such. It's got 2 banks, Gleason and Gleason and Zenith Holdings. And you were able to identify that through the center of town, there's small businesses and chain restaurants that line the main road through Orange City, with outliers scattered throughout. As you have found, as you're finding firsthand, a piddling manufacturing zone in the north of the city. And City Hall and the police HQ, which are in the same building, is almost square in the middle of Orange City. So, yeah. Do y'all head to this warehouse as soon as you get the okay?
We can get some snacks first, but yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Of course.
Gotta get some munchies.
Yeah. Yeah. You all meet up in this warehouse. You find that that Quizmaster has arranged beds for all of you and tables, as well as meticulously lined up all the food for you.
I take one sniff of, or I take a smell of discharge and Steel Claw, and I'm grateful I bought all those Slim Jims. Although I don't say it.
Chemo Snare claims a bed and proceeds to wall it off into a small room.
Quizmaster's also probably taken up one of the offices as a bedroom.
Let's see. 1 second here. I need to look at something.
Everybody have a safe drive in?
No.
Well enough.
Oh, excellent. Well, I was able to get us this nice warehouse. And wanted to make sure we had plenty of rest, so I got us plenty of food, some toiletries for the facilities, and thought some beds might be good. I usually go for air mattresses since they're a little bit cheaper, but especially for some of our bodies, I thought having a good old-fashioned bed would probably be a better idea.
It should help.
Excellent.
Well, from here we'll do some interesting work. We'll see what we're getting done and what we're getting into soon enough, I suppose.
Alrighty, well, that car, is that hot?
Yes.
Okay, we should probably keep it inside the warehouse then.
No, I was planning on it.
Or if you want to dump it somewhere, you're fine by me.
Oh, we'll probably get rid of it after we have a chance to speak with contact we were given, but until then, it might be useful for a little bit longer.
Indeed. So, I've taken care of some logistics. So what is probably our best bet for our next course of action?
If you're continuing on the idea of us having any sort of entry disguise, you might be wanting to look into other branches of the same shell company. See about any information we can get towards that, especially things that might relate to disguises. Look, and of course, we'll look into anything concerning that of the topography near where we're visiting. And if there's any possibility of even a simple floor plan before getting into the interior. See if there's someone else we could send in, possibly on the entry tour, at least see what the opening lobby's like.
Okay, good ideas, good ideas.
And beyond that, obtain the vehicles we're planning to use for the final thing. Honestly, as large as this job is, the complexity of it so far from what we have heard is not that difficult.
I still think my idea of quietly going to one of the county offices and seeing if we can't get some plat maps or topographical maps would probably be wise. It's not impossible that we might be able to get access to blueprints.
I find it unlikely if the Coalition have anything to do with this location, but it is still something worth examining.
They purchased, my train of thought is they purchased the building, so it is entirely possible they did not make the blueprints private, or the prior owners made the blueprints private. So it's worth looking.
I'm not sure you understand the amount of money the Thane of Sydney has.
I know the amount of money they have. The point I'm making is if they cared.
What, to a location they're storing something dangerous enough we're being paid this amount of money to get it?
Bare minimum. Topographical maps are absolutely public knowledge.
Oh, of course. That much is simple. We could get that from satellite imagery.
That is worth obtaining. So I can go into the city and take a look around for that, or if Chemosnera, if you would like to take a look, it's up to you.
I could. I also will probably be hitting up the local hardware store for the necessary materials to make our entry and exit methods, should we choose to make a bit more noise. And additionally, I think that we might like to do some old-fashioned visual investigation, perhaps a high building that we could see the external security, at least, of the facility we are planning to break into.
Good idea, good idea. Is there any other materials, either of you need discharge or steel claw? Anything that we would need to purchase?
Oh no, anything I'd need, I've already brought with me.
Okay.
Do you say lighting up another?
Probably, yeah.
Quizmaster doesn't say anything, but again, if you pay close enough attention to his facial muscles, you can see the eye roll. Steel Claw, if you have anything, I can pick it up. Otherwise, I think we've all got some good plans.
Sharps.
I've got all my need right here.
Perfect.
Briefly unleashes the claws on his hand for a second.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to do at the moment, or do you want to stay here and get some rest?
Do you need anyone to interrogate?
I do not.
How about kidnap?
Okay. If we do want to obtain someone to interrogate, I suppose that's an option. Is there anybody we would want to try to take?
I mean, take someone while they're off shift, maybe. Someone who knows the building might know where our target is.
That might be a good idea. Why? Well, I'm waiting for the maps at the county government. I can try to do some Google Foo and see if I can locate somebody.
I'll look into the vehicles and at least get an external view of the facility.
And I suppose I'll gather my own materials then. Though if you find out any specific defenses that need surmounting, feel free to contact me so I don't have to make more than 2 trips.
Indeed, indeed.
Very well.
Sounds good. I think we have our marching orders.
All right. So, Chemo Snare, you're going to head to some hardware stores to get some stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna give you an aspect of Orange Cities for free, since you're going to be doing some extra shopping. Since you're actually going to be doing some further shopping, browsing some of the other businesses, you will get the aspect of Orange City. Too many franchises, not enough soul. As there are no small businesses selling any sort of arts or crafts or construction or any sort of other equipments. You get that with a Lowe's, essentially.
All right. Could you put that aspect in the chat?
Sure. Okay. So, then I also have a question. What was Steel Claw going to be doing?
Probably just walking around.
Walking around the city, walking around the warehouse.
Walking around the city.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll. I don't know. You can roll something like notice.
Yeah, I can. I have the not ice.
Yes, you do.
+3.
Okay. You will also learn an aspect. Tons of empty buildings. You do a little bit of exploration of Orange City. Do a little bit of exploration of Orange City, and you find that while it seems to be trying to get an identity again, it's still struggling to hold a decent population. Not only do you find closed down businesses, you find closed down homes, closed down apartments. Closed down office buildings. It definitely looks like this city has seen brighter times. Let's see. What was... we'll go here with Discharge. What were you doing?
Max BRB.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I didn't BRB, I was just mentioning the...
Yeah, no, we're gonna end it here in the next few minutes.
We'll need the vehicles within the next day, but that's not what I'm gonna do first. The first thing that Discharge is gonna do first is try and physically visit the location, just kind of pass around it, not like go inside or even get anywhere near the door, just try and look around the outside of it, and particularly look over any sort of security, both electronic and mechanical.
Okay. So what you find is that oh, right, sorry. One thing to Steelclaw, real quick. In your explorations of Orange City, you also happen to find that there is actually a Danuke Glaff office suite in the city itself. It is not the research center, but it is an office suite. It is open and in use. But back to Discharge. You're looking for the research center, the Danuke Glaff Pharmaceuticals Research Center. It is far to the south of the city. It is down a bit of a winding road, kind of into the marshes a little bit. And as you're firmly in South Carolina, marsh territory, South Carolina coast to be specific, and when you arrive, you find there is a very tall fence and a security checkpoint that greets you. There is a parking lot on the outside of it. It looks like there is a small group of people kind of gathered in front of in front of the fences, but not at the security checkpoint.
Small group of people looking like staff, or
looking like regular citizens. Some of them have cameras. Some of them were chatting amongst themselves.
When you say cameras, are you meaning like just phones or small cameras, or you mean like press-looking stuff?
Small cameras. Also, like one of them has a professional-looking camera, but they look like civilians. There is at the security checkpoint. There is an armed guard that is ignoring them, but because they're harmless. The road continues past that security checkpoint. You will not be able to pass the security checkpoint. I don't know if you try.
Oh no, I'm not. Definitely not.
But you don't have the credentials. But were you taking the stolen car?
He probably took it part of the way, but then like didn't take it all the way and just kind of got out and walked the remaining at the distance.
Did you just abandon it? Do you just abandon it in one of the marshes? Let it sink.
You know, honestly, yeah, if they're marshy enough for that, why the fuck not?
Yeah, you can do that. You just
give a
like
shit.
take it to one of the hills where there are the fewest trees, and just kind of swampland all ahead. Put it in neutral and give it a little push.
Yep. Just kind of walk away, lighting another one.
So
Now that I'm out in public, it has to be a clove cigarette.
oh, of course. The road winds past the security checkpoint. As a note, this incredibly tall fence has a razor wire on top. You can see the building in the distance. I'd say it's probably about another quarter of a mile away past the security checkpoint. That tall fence goes around a wide swath of an area.
Are there any other like actively patrolling guards or like notable cameras I can see from here?
There are cameras around the security checkpoint. You don't notice too many in other areas.
Cool. All right.
The people that some of the people that are like snapping photos of the building in the distance do see you and give you a little wave, but like nothing to call you over or anything, just kind of acknowledging your presence, that you might be one of them.
Yeah, he gives like a half wave. Waits for them to turn around, and then before going over to meet up with them or anything else, he is going to make one of his hounds, rather small one,
Mm-hmm.
and make one that's relatively small and kind of thins out its material to get a bit closer to leatherish wings.
Okay.
And he's just gonna hand a camera to it.
Okay.
And have it go fly closer to this place.
Sure. I'm going to have you roll some dice for something.
Weird.
Let's see. Let's look at your skills. I'm going to have you roll crafts.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy.
Because I assume summoning creatures in this case is crafts.
Oh, summoning creatures, a thing I do by default, actually. It's part of my powers.
I assume then summoning creatures
I give it
stealthily is crafts.
Yes, that would make sense.
That's more what I was going for.
That's fair. That's a +4.
+4? Okay. Yeah. You do this kind of close to the edge of the marshes where the parking lot kind of ends, and send it on its way to go through the marshes and around ways.
He gives it a pet first, but then goes back to meet up with everyone.
Of course.
All the people standing out front.
Since you got to go here in a moment, I'm actually going to end it here, as you do approach the conspiracy theorists and
Oh my god.
the conspiracy theorists and amateur photographers and amateur journalists.
My people.
Carousing in front of carousing just nearby the security checkpoint.
Oh dear.
This is a minor advancement or a minor milestone. That's what it is.
Okay.
The one that lets you switch a stat, a skill around, or a stunt, I believe. Yes.
Sure.
What do you guys think?
Good.
Good.
I mean, it's a bit slow so far, but we're going to get into the main thing. It needs, by necessity, it's a bit slow so far.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the shit next session.
Yeah, no. Good planning session.
Yep.
Interested to see how things go.
Excellent. Me too.
What's the name of the company?
Danuke Glaff. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat here.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to spell that. Yep. Yep, that wasn't happening. that was not happening.
Okay.
There we go.
Anyone have any comments, questions for in the recording?
Is Danuglaf a prominence company?
No. It is a global it is a global pharmaceutical suite.
A known player, or is it a new group that has been made for the game? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
From what you were getting from the Progenitor, it is a dummy corporation set up by the Thane of Sydney. So any other comments or questions?
I look forward to sticking people to the ground.
Oh, I look forward to
this all fucking up and the capsule breaking.
I look forward to every amount of shenanigans that's going to ensue. I look forward to you probably breaking it on purpose because you're a shitlord.
I mean, there's a good possibility.
All right, I'm going to do
This is
recording here.
good. Yes.